So what I've put together here is a series of kind of questions or scenarios or situations about what happens when, to do with running, day-to-day running your gardening business. So there's about, I've got my list here, there's about 10 to 12 things on here. So this might be kind of a 10-15 minute video. It's a serious video and I'm going to go quite in depth on each one and give you as much information as possible. So if you want to, pause the video, get yourself a drink, cup of tea or whatever, and watch it properly, do you know what I mean? Like watch the entire video, because there's some decent stuff in here that will help you. So the first thing, and this might be the most common thing, is what to do when it rains. So the first thing I ask myself when it rains is, it's simple, do you want to be outside or not? As in, how torrential is the rain? If it's absolutely, tipping it down, torrential rain, I'll not go out. I just won't go out. If it's raining kind of semi-heavy, I might think, is there any lawns that I could cut? Because what I don't like to do is cut me really nice lawns when it's wet and rainy and boggy, because obviously the soil can get soft and then you're pushing a heavy lawnmower on it, the wheel marks, the tracks on the lawn can sink and obviously make it look a mess. So if you've got a really nice lawn, I personally wouldn't touch it in the rain or the wet. Plenty of times I've cut when it has been wet, but it's maybe been on not so nice lawns and gardens, or where it's full of weeds or whatever, because it doesn't matter as much, as in it won't damage it as much. Second thing is, can I do anything else other than mowing or whatever you're doing, hedge trimming in the rain? I tend not to do as many weeding jobs these days. I certainly wouldn't be doing it in the rain, because they're not the nicest of jobs at the best of times. So generally speaking, if it's absolutely pouring down, I won't go out. And then it's a case of the dreaded rearranging of the diary. If you get 2 or 3 days of constant rain, then panic might set in a little bit. I absolutely hate it, I'm not going to lie. And it's just a case of being organised with your diary, and it is important to be organised with your week. I work on a 2-week rota, and in my diary I'll have it filled up kind of in theory for the next couple of months. And it's also very important when you're getting new customers to explain that I may need to kind of swap jobs around due to the weather, or if I'm ill or can't work, whatever. Basically I'll need free reign of the garden. So it's no good really when customers insist on being there and then they'll message you and say, oh, I'm going out tomorrow, can you rearrange? No chance. It's my diary, it's not the customers. So that, in a nutshell, that's what happens when it rains. So if you're enjoying this video so far, stick around, because I've got a load more scenarios to come. If you're new, hit subscribe. The channel is full of videos like this that will help you on your gardening business journey. So hit that subscribe button and say hello in the comments. So what happens when a customer doesn't pay or is late paying and you have to maybe chase them? So I've been quite lucky, and I think off the top of my head I can think of an instance where a customer didn't pay us once. It was for a prune, a small tree prune. It was about 70 quid I think, and it transpired that the customer, I think, had a bit of a breakdown. He was a landlord, so he wasn't at the property. I've never met him, only messaged and the odd phone call. Obviously I didn't know this, and you basically got a choice. Do you keep chasing it or not? I mean, there's small claims courts, but obviously when you're talking about small amounts, that we'll probably be doing. If you're a landscaping company, it might be different. Thousands of pounds, you might want to pursue it then, you probably will. But I'm a one-man band, your garden maintenance guy. The type of jobs I'll be doing, it's just not worth it. So doing your best to kind of assess the customer beforehand, and chatting to them is quite important. From that day, any new jobs I did that were one-offs, new customers, new gardens, I would get 50, or generally if it was a bigger job, try and get 50% of the cost up front first, and then obviously payment upon completion. I didn't have a problem with any of that personally. I maybe did it 10 times. So I don't currently do as much one-off work, bigger jobs, because I'm so busy with kind of the grass cuts and hedge trims and stuff. But yeah, that's you basically got a choice. just keep chasing it, and then just kind of forget about it, put it down to experience, and there's not a lot you can do. You hear stories about people kind of going back to the garden and making a mess of it, or like tipping loads of waste on the garden. That don't want to bother with any of that stuff. Just take it on the chin. Accept that it may happen from time to time. As I say, it's once in 6 years, I think, for me. It is what it is.
So if you're sat here watching this and you're genuinely serious about starting your own garden business, or if you've already started but you need maybe a little bit of help and guidance, then I have set up a website. You can book a 1 hour slot with me. The idea being you can pick my brains, I can pass on all the experience that I've learned over the years, and hopefully it can set you off on the right footing. No pressure, the link's below. Have a look, see if it's for you. Cheers.
Late paying customers, now you'll probably get a few of these. There are a few gardens I have where basically I know I'll have to chase them, and it's a little bit annoying. It's kind of like, can you not get your stuff in order, kind of thing, and just pay us? Have a bit of respect. You're paying for a service, get it paid. Like, I ask for same day or next day payments. It doesn't always work, and I'll basically say, I'll give them maybe. You get to know your customers, and you get to know the ones who, if they go a day or so past what they normally do, you're pretty much guaranteed that they will pay you like a couple of days after, and you don't have to chase them. So maybe you give them a bit more grace. The customers that I know just basically need a reminder. I'll kind of give them sort of 3 or 4 days maybe, and then like every other day. Occasionally, it's come round to the next visit, so that would be 2 weeks. Again, then you've got a choice to make. Do you do the garden and then obviously be chasing 2 payments, or do you send them kind of a message and say, look, I'm waiting on this payment, your garden won't be visited again until I get this payment? Depending on the size of the garden, that may kind of mess your diary up or whatever. It depends on where that garden is. If you're in that day, that garden on a specific day, you might just want to get it done because you might not be back or near that area. That's your choice. It does depend on that one. So what do you do when a customer cancels? Well, that's life. There's not much you can do, really. Again, it maybe goes back to the 50% up front. If it's a new customer, you might want to do that. If the customer's a bit flaky anyway, they probably won't want to pay you 50% up front, so then it's up to you whether you want to go ahead or not. So that's maybe one-off jobs. There's not much you can do. It's just a pain. Fortnightly jobs. So this is regular jobs. It's probably more prevalent with a new customer who you've just put on kind of a fortnightly visit, whether it be grass cut or like a full maintenance package, borders, whatever. If they then cancel, then what I tend to do is just kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, it depends on the reason. If it's kind of, I'm not going to be there or whatever, then, you just have to explain it to them again. You have to say, look, I'm very busy, I need access to your garden, blah, blah, blah. All this should have been sorted when you were quoting for the job, though. So it depends on, it's quite crucial on what you're actually telling the customer there, and then, when you're quoting, tell them how you kind of operate and how you need things to be done as well. If they are cancelling, I've had a few kind of, if it's been really hot weather, not much rain, and the grass just hasn't grown, and they might say, oh, look, I don't need it, this time's barely grown. It's that, for me, that's part of the course. That's part of gardening. It's fair enough. There are plenty of times I have cut a lawn when, to be quite honest with you, it probably didn't need cutting. You kind of, at the start of the year, you agree to kind of a fixed kind of set of dates. I think it's about 17-ish roughly, obviously depending on how far you go, whether it's October, November, basically until the grass stops growing. People cut throughout the winter, I don't. But some visits, grass is going to be shorter than others. Sometimes it's longer, takes you a bit longer, it swings and roundabouts. It very much depends on why they cancel, but you need to kind of put a marker down a little bit and just kind of say, look, I do need access. Maybe 3 strikes and they're out. Do you know what I mean? You say to them, look, you can tell a little white lie and say, look, I'm turning jobs down. This is a slot where I'm not earning any money. I could quite easily put a garden in this slot and be earning. So just, it's up to you what you how you say it. Favours. This is a kind of a tricky one, really. When does a little favour turn into a proper kind of job that you should be charging for? Quite often there'll be kind of grey areas and fine margins, and you're maybe not too sure. It might depend what mood you're in, whether you kind of want to do it or you say, look, I'm going to have to charge extra for this. It depends who's asked you, I think, probably as well. If they're kind of maybe an older person who can't maybe manage as much, you know, if they're nice, they kind of might make you some cups of tea, you might have some chats with them, you're more inclined to do them a favour, kind of gesture of goodwill type of thing. I sometimes see it as, you know, I don't pay for advertising, and that's my way of kind of paying for advertising through time, in the hope that they will then maybe tell their friends. I've got a lot stricter, and you will as well. The busier you get, the stricter you're going to have to be to say, look, no, I will have to charge, or look, I'll have to book this in at a separate day. I can't do it, you know, today, sort of thing. Sometimes people ask and they're a little bit cheeky with it, and they're kind of pushing the luck a little bit, and then you've got to be a bit firmer with them. Some people are really nice and genuine, and just, you know, if they want a few flowers planting or whatever, take you 5-10 minutes, I'll do that. If, for example, some people have said the kind of the neighbouring gardens, some of their kind of bushes and branches are overhanging, they say, can you cut them back? That very much depends on how much there is to cut. If you've got a whole sort of fence line to cut back, then that's going to be extra charge. That's an extra job. Probably would have to be booked in separately. If it's kind of a few little overhanging branches, just get them cut. Customer's happy, you're happy. You know, they'll probably tell people how good the gardener is. It's very much a case-by-case basis. You've got to just make a judgment call on that one. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. Part 2 will be out next Sunday, so if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it, and hopefully I'll see you in that one. Cheers.